Yesterday with the round the houses race, spectacular as ever, and then a time trial which determines the starting positions for today. Clayton Enston on pole position. But let's go back and look at that round the houses race which took place yesterday morning. The 34th running of the Roof of Africa race, sponsored by the Lesotho Sun group of hotels, and this is downtown Maseru. Lots of interested bystanders watching these crazy men and their flying machines getting ready for this round the houses race. First race will be for the quads, then the 200cc's, the 250s, and then the opens. Nervous times for these riders, wondering what it's going to be like in the mountains of Lesotho this time around. Will rain stop play? Will rain be a factor in the result? Always the last word from Daryl Curtis, but down on the start line for the quad race around the houses, Johan Steenkamp, Jeff Bush, Dali Tambo, alias Tablanche, Cornel de Villiers and Jacques Struvig on the front row of the grid. They're going to be averaging over 100 miles per hour, 160 k's an hour through the streets of Maseru in Lesotho. Hope the traffic cops aren't standing by. Out front, on bike number 100, Dion Belcher has hit the front with that Banshee, about 800 cc's. Behind him, it's Christophe Kunle, the Frenchman, followed by Jacques Struvig, Clayton Duplessis, and Cornel de Villiers. So all the top contenders are right out front, the usual suspects for this quad racing. They take a slightly different route from the bikes this year, but it'll be tough nonetheless. Down to the finish line, and Dion Belcher gets the win on the Banshee, and he's ahead of Cornel de Villiers and Clayton Duplessis in third place.
Yeah, it was nice and fast. I knew I had the advantage over the Bombardiers. Jake and myself built the motor, but the race isn't won on the first day. Tomorrow, Cornel and Johan and Jacques and the guys will take over. I'm just coming here for fun.
No cars taking part this year, but this guy's looking for the starting grid for his off-road cars. I wonder where the car race is. But down on the line, it's the 200cc Enduro class and the 125s running alongside them. It looks like Jeffrey Wallater has got the whole shot on the 200cc KTM right behind him. Barry Creel. Creel has hit the front. He looks over his shoulder. Wallater trying to get up the inside there. They're doing about 160 k's an hour down the straight. Behind them, Brett Prada. And then in fourth place, Rian van Niekerk. And the first of the 125s right on his tail. That's Connie Mayer on a Yamaha. Fighting it out all the way through this field. This is important for the time trials because this will determine the starting positions for the race proper tomorrow. Maseru Bridge or Maseru Central, which way should we go? This is the 250s. They are flying through. Elmer Simmons in the lead. Clayton Enston behind him and Wayne Farmer holding off Brian Kappa for fourth place. 50 bikes in this class, the biggest single class in the Roof of Africa. Down towards the finish line. One lap completed. Elmer Simmons goes through. He's got a substantial lead there. Who's going to be second? It is Clayton Enston, followed by Wayne Farmer and the Russell Campbell Kawasaki. Whoa! Brian Kappa gets that thing absolutely sideways on the tarmac. The trials are showing he's a man of many talents. Oh, front wheel landing there for one of the riders. Not easy coming onto the tar section, but down at the finish line, Elmer Simmons on bike number 251, a substantial lead in the 250 class. Wayne Farmer has got past Enston, and that is for second place, and Brian Kappa has closed right up, and he picks up fourth in the 250cc class. Next out, it's the first open class race. Look out for Alfie Cox on that big Gatum as he flies down. But Carl Leroux's got the whole shot on the KTM, followed by Cox, Grey Dick, Daryl Curtis comes through as well on the gas. They are flying through the streets of Maseru. That photographer couldn't even follow those fast guys. Cox down after lap one. Right behind him, Grey Dick has closed up on the Yamaha. The Schimmels Yamaha shows its form around the tar section. That big old four-stroke putting the power down. We've got a crash there. It looks like Leonardo Pambo has fallen down on the tar, and he looks okay. Pick that bike up and carry on with the race. But out front, Cox has got problems because Grey Dick has got ahead. Grey Dick half a second ahead of Alfie Cox in the first of the open class races. Second open class race, and this is for the Ulysses and senior guys as well. Rob Anderson is on the ex-Alfie Cox KTM, and that thing does about 180 k's per hour down these straight sections. So it's Rocket Rob Anderson comes through in the lead, and he's followed by David Field, and Ross Guscott comes through. Kevin Tebbett has got a poor start, but he's making his way towards the front on the Husqvarna, and he knows his way around the houses. Whoa, Kevin Tebbett has got past Anderson on the brakes down at the finish line. Kevin Tebbett back from America and enjoying the Roof of Africa. So that was around the houses and the time trials yesterday. Clayton Enslin then on pole position for the race, followed closely by Alfie Cox. And let's not forget the Bombardiers in that quad class. That's going to be well contested. And the Ulysses for those older guys going through the easy route. Should we call it easy? Well, join me for the Roof of Africa through the Kingdom of Lesotho. And my camera crew, Jan Hartzer, Ivar van Kraan and Andrew Mulligan, who will be in the helicopter today for 2 days of trials, tribulation, tears and joy. This is the Roof of Africa. Thanks to the Lesotho Air Force for providing that brand new helicopter for our cameraman Andrew Mulligan to track the race through the mountains of Lesotho. And can Alfie Cox make it 9 wins in this race? Alfie, what do you reckon?
Well, you know, Dave, it's a common route both days, and I think there's only about 80 kilometers or 90 k's that are different on each day. So today I think it's just a day to look to see where the course is going. We sort of know the last day, the slide your arse section and all of that. So today I think just to look to see where it is, to try and make a gap for tomorrow. I don't think the race is going to be today. If you can get away today, obviously try, but I think it's going to be just a procession trying to find our way, get to the finish, and the next day is almost the same as today. So we'll have a...
Alfie, on a broader spectrum, over 200 entries, it's pretty good, eh?
Yeah, they've done something, you know, they've enticed the people into this novice, you know, give each guy a turn. Even though he doesn't do the whole course, at least he can be involved in the Roof of Africa, say, I've been to Lesotho, I've ridden a bit of it. It's a very good marketing thing they've done, and I mean, you see the entries, over 300 entries, I think. Magnificent for the Roof of Africa. The only sad thing is the cars. I'm sad the cars are not here.
Personally, I don't miss the cars because I think they got too many bloody wheels anyway. But here's another face. Come over here, Hazel. Come and join us. This is Hazel Cox. Over there. Hazel, you must be pretty damn nervous to see your husband heading out into 2 days of hell.
Yeah, I am, but I'm also pretty used to it. I know he rides with his head, and we'll see what happens.
I'm sure he's going to ride with his head. Alfie, good luck, eh? And Clayton is just ahead of you on the starting line.
No problem.
Clayton, 2 days of riding ahead of you. What do you reckon?
For 2 days, looking at the weather, this morning looks good, but like last year it looked good for 1 day, and next day it was, something to really talk about for a year. So we'll see how it's 2 long days. I think we're going to have some fun, new route.
Are you nervous?
Always.
2 days though, what's your plan?
Well, the race basically is tomorrow, so just get through today safely and be in a fighting chance for the win tomorrow.
Exactly 6 a.m. and Clayton Enslin gets away on the Shimwell's Yamaha 250 two-stroke. 370 k's lies ahead of him through the mountains. Alfie Cox just seconds behind on the big old KTM bike number 500. He's won 8 of these races. Can he make it 9? Elmer Simmons comes flying through, and he is coming back on form of late and has been a major contender in this area before in the mini roof. Next away, it is Jade Goodsite on bike number 750 and Graham McLaughlin, who has some local knowledge of this area. And that is Daryl Curtis getting away on the gas. A bit of ground to make up, followed by Rion Fanikak, and between them, it's Grey Dick on the 426 Shimwell's Yamaha. But out front, Clayton Enslin shows us the speed that he flies through the mountains at. Just take a look at this. The helicopter can't even keep up with these guys. Alfie Cox has got that thing pinned wide open. Tell me, are these men brave or what? Simmons is making ground on Cox. Simmons is following his tracks, makes life just that little bit easier for him. Daryl Curtis has caught up to McLaughlin and Jade Goodsite just ahead of them, so Curtis is already making ground on the gas. This terrain suits his riding style ideally. Notice how he's standing on the saddle. So much more nowadays. In the 125 class, Bernard Johnson gets away just ahead of Gerald Bass. He's riding a 200. And then Jeffrey Wallet on that 200 KTM, followed by Dirk van Zitzewitz from Germany. 7 international riders taking part in the two-wheelers today. And this will be a big experience for those riders. Some encouragement for Robert Kirk. Kirk has gone down in the mud. This is just 100 meters from the start. So things are going to be tough for the riders like Robert Kirk on bike number 53. Paul Hugh-Martin goes through, another one of our international German riders on a Suzuki DRZ 400. This muddy section has caught out Peter Brocker, another one of our German visitors. He has slid to the ground. Things are going to be tough for the next couple of days. The quads are up next at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're waiting for their start. Well, certainly a large foreign contingent taking part in this year's Roof of Africa in Lesotho. Christoph Kunler, one of the only foreigners riding in the quad class. Christoph, first time in Africa, how are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful. I never done this type of races, and I'm learning a lot. So yesterday was very good, easy, and I had fun. So I hope it will be the same tomorrow and today. En français, en français, qu'est-ce que un message? On va voir, on va découvrir l'Afrique pendant 2 jours et puis on verra samedi soir.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
This one on pole for today's quad race. How are you feeling?
It's going to be a long day. It's not always lucky to start first, but you must go and find the way for the other people. But I'll wait for Cornell and we'll ride together. And the race is not today, it's tomorrow the last from the service point to the Arabs. Wait for that.
Yes, it's all about tactics. Riding on the quad route are the seniors, and that's Kevin Tebbit getting away on the Husqvarna. Nice leisurely pace for Tebbit. Followed closely by David Field on a 4-stroke KTM. That thing looks fast. Jacques Struve gets away on the big Bombardier, the first of that quad class, and he's got about 200 k's ahead of him today. Cornel de Villiers gets away, and behind him it is Clayton Duplessis. But Clayton Enslin is out front in the open class with that 250cc Shimwell's Yamaha, and this is what lies in store for all of the riders in the roof of Africa. Errol Dalton goes through with that big gas at the bottom of the mountain. Ahead of him, though, Jade Goodside is putting some time on him. This is Goodside up on the mountain ahead of Rian van Niekerk on that 200cc gas. Goodside is riding on a KTM bike number 750. Van Niekerk goes through. Then Elmer Simmons comes along just ahead of Alfie Cox, and the boys are all closing up on one another, following each other's tracks as they go through this mountain section. Grey Dick on 509, the 4-stroke, keeping it on the boil right behind Alfie Cox on the 2-stroke KTM. Daryl Curtis standing up as usual with a power down. Ray McLaughlin, local knowledge, he knows something we don't know. He's heading down that other side of the mountain. McLaughlin obviously knows his way around this part of the world. Dirk van Zitzewitz with that Suzuki DR400, he follows the normal trail. He's not following McLaughlin. Larry Creel goes through. He's second in the 200cc class on bike number 3. And that's Tom Carson on the Miller Moore KTM, bike number 350. That's Brian Capper, the trials expert, having the first time ride in the mountains. He's enjoying life at the moment. And take a look at what lies ahead of these riders. It's not easy on the roof of Africa. River crossings and mountain crossings. The first of the quads comes through. It looks like Christophe Kuhnler has got in front. The Frenchman is leading in the quad class. This is a great experience for that rider. Right behind him, it's Jeff Ush and Cornel de Villiers. There's Ush. He's lying third now in that class. And right behind him, Alex Sally on bike number L15. Apparently he's lying fifth in the class. Through goes Sally with the first of the Raptor Yamahas. Eugene Rousseau goes through, and he's in the senior class with a 2-stroke KTM, a wave tower camera crew on his way. And that's George Booker also competing in the senior class. Don't forget they're riding on the same course as the quads. And locals are wondering what's going on here. Now this is Dali Tablanche, alias Dali Tambo, with that pink helmet. This time around he hasn't got that ponytail on him. Neville Murray goes through on 598, the big KTM. And the first of the refuel stops, Rian van Niekerk on the 225, 200cc gas comes in just ahead of Daryl Curtis. All the leaders have closed up on each other. Just behind them there, I see Jade Goodside, and everybody seems pretty happy at this stage.
Hey, what's up?
What's happening? How's it going?
It's beautiful, eh? Just all riding together, we're trying to find our way. That was not too bad, the river's on deep, so it's gonna be fun today. Yeah, it's good. We got lost a bit up there. Turn around a bit. Is this the first group here?
Yes,
How many guys got through?
about 5.
Okay, so this is the whole first group.
Yes. Ray McLaughlin keeps tabs on the leaders. Neil van der Ross in the Ulysses class goes through ahead of Brendan Bircher and Hayden Percival. Just behind him, Ross Anderson in the senior class, and Sean Gunter on L116. Takes it easy, standing up on his Bombardier quad. This is G. Evans and Mike Glover looking for a way across the river crossings. overnight, the river has risen. The rain has been falling. They're looking to cross the river. Evans goes into the deep water. Why has he gone upstream? This is fatal. That bike is going to suck all the water in. He'll never get that thing started. Mike Glover, he can't make up his mind. Whoa, he's also going into the deep stuff. Literally 20 meters away, there's a proper crossing, guys. Why are they taking this route? Probably because the cameras are standing there. That is why. David Phil pushes his bike downstream. This is the way to do it. Climb off board, let the suspension rise up, keep that four-stroke motor ticking away, and push it through. David Phil then goes 20 meters downstream and makes it look oh so much easier. Lots of local support for him as he gets through there on bike number 70. Tough work. These riders are exhausted. There's just over 100 Ks to go for them, including Baboons Pass, waiting for everybody. Mike Glover gets the tank and seat off, cleans out the air filter. George Booker goes through in the senior class. Lucky for him, he's made it through that river without stopping. Evans, he's got his bike back together. He's quite happy. Andrew Clark in the novice class keeps it running. Look at his face. He's exhausted. I agree. Right, out front, we've got Alfie Clarks flying along on the KTM. Which way, guys? Where do we go from here? Daryl Curtis joins him. Certainly not across that river. We can't seem to pick up the track markings. Well, across the bridge we go. So that is Cox and Curtis first and second. Elmer Simmons comes flying along in 251. But the marshals have decided to show him which way. In fact, it's other riders. This way, Elmer, don't go across that bridge because you're going to meet some oncoming riders in the Ulysses class coming the other way. This is chaos. The rain has affected the markings. Look at that. Oh, so dangerous. We can't have riders crossing paths in the middle of a race. Clayton Enslin comes down towards the bridge. Which way, guys? Turn right, Clayton. Go down the river and then across. And look out for riders coming the other way. Jade Goodside, who's come back from injury in recent months, standing up on the pegs on bike number 750. Sixth place, Errol Dalton, showing his experience. How many Roof of Africas has he done? I'll have to ask him one of these days. Which way, guys? Yes, down, follow the river. And it is chaos down at the main river. Gary Prentice has got stuck with his Raptor. Gary's paid about 200 Rand in porterage fees across the river to the locals. Dali to Blanche, he's not paying anybody. He keeps that Raptor running. Oh, this is hard work. And chaos reigns supreme, decimating the quad class. Wallater up in the mountains on bike number 6. Shows you how tough the Roof of Africa really is. Brian Capper comes down. Thankfully, that river is not flowing so hard, but look out for the green slime because that can catch you out when you slip down across those rocks. And that's Alfie Cox with Clayton Enslin following his tracks. And they're heading down towards Baboons Pass, waiting to ensnare them over its boulders. Elmer Simmons behind them, following their tracks as well. And all these leaders are right behind one another. It's anybody's race at this stage in the 34th running of the Roof of Africa. Daryl Curtis flies through Baboons Pass, 40 Ks of these sort of conditions. Jay Goodside goes through Elmer Simmons on 251, bouncing off those rocks. Imagine doing this for another 40 Ks. How do the bikes handle it? Clayton Enslin goes through on the Shimwells Yamaha right behind them, slipping and sliding all the way down. That looks like Rian Finikak on the gas, right up with the leaders in the 200cc class. Bouncing and sliding their way along. Gray Dick goes down on the 426 Yamaha. Keep that thing running, Gray. You don't want to be kick-starting that Yamaha up in the mountains. Larry Creel, bike number 3. Oh, and another crash. Imagine doing this 20 times in one day. Fall down, pick it up, start it, and run all over again. That's Errol Dalton, and he's behind Graham McLaughlin, and Dirk van Zitzewitz, the German, has caught up. Simmons has got stuck in the river. They're right down near the finish line, only a few Ks to go, and Elmer Simmons has fallen over in the river. This has allowed Daryl Curtis and Alfie Cox to pull a lead out front. Clayton Enslin comes down to the river. Does he get through? Keep it on the pipe. Simmons picks it up and waves to our camera crew. Not too worried, he knows there's another day to go. Jade Goodside goes down into the river. Is he going to be stuck? He sure is. Through goes Dalton, right behind him, Rian Fanika. Goodside unhappy, losing valuable time. Down at the finish line, Peter Luck has got the flag out for Alfie Cox. Alfie Cox is the leader on day one for the Roof of Africa. Luck is looking up. Who's second in line? Daryl Curtis flies through. Mr. Wildman as always. Second on day one of the Roof of Africa. So day one of the Roof of Africa comes to an end. Next week on Two Wheels, we'll bring you the final day of the Roof, but coming up after the break, we'll find out what's happening this weekend with the toy run and a 3-hour endurance race at the Swartkorps Raceway.
Saving you money, putting you first. And MGK Spark Plugs, right first time, every time.
Yes, welcome. And on this edition of Two Wheels, we test ride a tricked out Honda VTR 1000 SP1 at the Swartkorps Raceway. And we take in highlights of the final day from the Roof of Africa race, which took place in Lesotho recently, where it was pretty tough going. We have in fact road tested the Honda VTR 1000 last week. This is the first day, and Alfie Cox and Daryl Curtis were fighting it out with Elmer Simmons chasing him down. So they were the first, second and third places overnight. The quad class was decimated by overnight rain and they got stuck in all the rivers. Dali Tablanche was the overnight winner on that Yamaha Raptor.
Yeah, well, I hope the weather holds out. You know, yesterday we had a lot of rain and we're not sure how full the rivers are. That's going to be the big factor, I think. But I think to get over Baboons and get over to Slide Your Arse, and then I think the race is going to be on from the end of Slide Your Arse, Malaya Lodge, all the way home. Lucky it's as common from yesterday, so we sort of know where we're going. So it's going to be, I think, a big deal between Daryl, myself and Elmer.
Alfie hasn't got a chance. He's getting old now. I'm actually quite surprised that he rode as well as he did yesterday. But today's going to be a very a long day. Elmer's only 2 minutes behind us, and I'm starting behind Alfie. But it's going to be a tricky day. There's up Baboons, and then there's no rest all the way down to the end of Slide Your Arse. So it's going to be a very tough day today, and anything can happen.
You know, it's difficult to say. It's 400 Ks we've got to do, so I don't want to push too hard in the beginning, especially before the passes. The passes are going to make or break us. I think that's where anyone can get a gap on the other. So I think I'm going to save my energy for the passes and hopefully be in front at the end of them.
Elmer Simmons then has got 2 minutes to make up on Alfie Cox and Daryl Curtis on this, the final day, and leading the quad class, Dali Tablanche.
Dali, after day racing section 2, 15-minute gap going into the last day. What's the strategy?
I'm going to go as fast as I can, but I'm not going to put some pressure on me. And we'll see how the race develops, but I'm going to try and stay in front, and we'll see how it goes.
First rider away in the 200cc class and lying 5th overall, Rian van Niekerk on the gas, putting in a tremendous performance on day one. Dirk van Zitzewitz, our German rider, the first of the international, gets away, and he is 6th overall after the overnight. Whoa, and Grey Dick has come through late to the starting area. Apparently he's had a problem with the spark plug and he's missed his start time by over a minute. Not good for Grey Dick on the start of day 2. Out on the top of the plateau, Alfie Cox has got Daryl Curtis chasing him down with a gas. Don't worry, Curtis hasn't picked up a whole lot of terrain. In fact, that's just the film from his goggles to keep the dust out, and something's gone wrong with those goggles, but Daryl doesn't even know about that because he is chasing Alfie Cox as they head towards the Baboons Pass. Clayton Enslin gets going in 4th place on the Shimwell's Yamaha 250. And starting just 1 minute behind him, it is Errol Dalton on the 300cc gas. Barry Creel goes through in the 200cc class. He's got a lot of work if he wants to catch up to Rian van Niekerk to win that class. And of course, the South African Championship is at stake. Van Zitzewitz goes through, the German rider, a friendly wave from him, enjoying the Roof of Africa. Grey Dick on the 426 Yamaha after that late start is having to make up a lot of time. And Jeffrey Waller goes through in the 200cc class on KTM number 6. We are into the Baboons Pass. Take a look at these rocks. They've got 40 Ks of this uphill and down dale. It is tough, ever so tough. How do you describe the Roof of Africa to anybody? Well, this is what it's all about. Elmer Simmons has got himself past Alfie Cox and Daryl Curtis, the man with the goggles that are coming apart with his gas. In fact, Curtis had a bit of a scare this morning with that bike when he found out that the carb clamp was loose down at the start line. Fortunately, Daryl was able to repair that with his on-bike tools, and this is Clayton Enston, currently lying in 4th place, 15 minutes behind the leaders. Ivory, first time on the Roof of Africa flying the helicopter. Tell us about your experience so far.
It's quite interesting to be at the Roof of Africa.
See all those bikes buzzing along below you?
Yes, it's a very interesting, and it's quite an adventure.
Now, my cameraman tells me you're an expert pilot. He says you've done really well so far. Do you want to just tell us about your experience with flying and what sort of plane this is?
I started flying in 1998, and because we are flying in the mountains, that's where I got the experience. And because always, whenever in Lesotho you fly, you are airborne, you go into the mountains, so that's why I got the experience.
Of course, the helicopter doesn't just take the camera crew around, it also helps with Kazibacks. Now, Peter Luck, clerk of the course, this sort of race must take a lot of organisation.
Yes, we try our best to make things run smoothly. Obviously, there are a lot of factors which can affect it. As you say, there's a lot of people out there, and it just takes one link in the chain to cause a disaster. But I think so far everything's gone well.
Peter, there's been a lot of concern about water, the rivers, crossings and so on, but obviously that hasn't raised its ugly head as yet.
No, so far the weather's holding. It looks like we may get some storms this afternoon, but let's hold thumbs and hope that it stays like this. Perfect racing conditions.
Well done to Peter and his team on a well-organised event. And this is Russell White going through in the senior class on his KTM, currently lying 3rd in that class. He's up and over baboons. Behind him, Eugene Rousseau goes through on bike number 40. It also looks like a KTM. Now we're down at the refueling area. And this is Stefan van Pletzen who's coming in for his refuel. Important that they get back up at this point of the race. All the fuel drums are marked with their numbers on, so each rider knows where is his fuel. Picturesque scenery. Take a look at this. The best part of South Africa has got to be in Lesotho. And Ingo Volschmidt, the man from Namibia, comes in for his fuel. He doesn't look comfortable on that bike. He's dragging his foot along the ground. Perhaps he's got a slight injury that he's carrying.
Are you going to retire? Tell me what happened.
We had a motocross meeting last weekend in Namibia, and I collided with somebody at the start and I tore my ligaments in my shoulder. And I came here hoping that it's going to work, but not just now in the mud. I fell on it, and since then I can hardly stand on the bike. I can't hold it properly, and I'll never make the boon, so I'll retire now and try next year again.
Always tough at the Roof of Africa. And this is Cornell de Villiers in the quad class, and on corrected time it appears that Cornell is now in the lead on his 4-wheeled quad. That's the big old Bombardier Desert Storm, the most popular quad at the moment for this type of racing. And Jeff Ush comes through on bike number L13. You can see the mud is making those tires like slicks as he goes around ever so carefully down this mountain pass. He's been doing this for 1.5 days. He's absolutely exhausted. Alfie Cox comes down through the same pass. Now they're on common ground. The open class, the seniors and the quads are taking the same route as they head down out of baboons, and they've got the final section to go. Daryl Curtis comes through on the big gas. He's lying in 2nd place, and look at how he puts the power down. He's not scared of the mud and the downhill passes. Elmo Simmons, he slipped back to 3rd place, so the lead is changing all the time. Look at Simmons lock up the brake down the side there, about 200-meter sheer drop over the rocks. These guys are absolutely crazy, and they're exhausted on top of it. Jacques Struvig, he's broken down with his Bombardier, and he's towing another competitor down the mountain pass. Boy, I hope the brakes are working on that one. And look how they are covered in mud. Looks like the man in the moon. Clayton Enston, 4th place on the Shimwell's Yamaha 250, and he's lying 3rd in that 250cc class. He's not scared of the mountain passes either. These are men of men. They are so fit, it's unbelievable. Hey, and I can drive my Mercedes up the pass if I want. It's my car. I'll do what I like with it. Barry Creel, 200cc class. He's lying in front at the moment because we cannot find the leader, the previous leader. Where's Rian van Niekerk? Is he out of the race? Creel comes through leading in that class. Tight and twisty, and this is not a backup crew. This is part of the local population. Not guilty? Wasn't me. Out on top of the plateau. Some of the midfield runners are still finding it tough out there. The water is lying all over the place. Rocks lurking under that grass. They've got to be ever so careful. Big KTM 4-stroke goes through, 540cc's electric start. Christoph Richter, one of our foreign visitors, enjoying the Roof of Africa and the mud and guts of it all. That's Glenn MacDonald, also on a 4-stroke KTM. It's got to be the most popular bike at the moment for this type of racing. And our cameraman, Jan Hartzer, is worried about the time bar for these back markers. Are they going to make it through before they close the circuit? Through goes Stefan van Platsen on bike number 280, and right behind him, Kevin Dupont flying along on 487. And that's Graham McLaughlin, who's got some sort of local knowledge. He does live quite nearby. Whoa! And we've got a crasher there. That is Jade Goodsight, one of the contenders in the championship. Jade Goodsight has gone down with a KTM. Doesn't even smile for the camera. He's not happy about that one. Goodsight heads back out into the fields. Gerald Bass comes through, and he's on bike number 98, looking for the trail. Where do we go, guys? Whoa, you can see it's mud and wet. It's tough conditions. And that donkey's not even happy. When can I cross this road? And that's Dirk von Zitzewitz, the German rider, looking for the way. Well marked there with those orange and pink markings. Right, it's time to get back in the air and see what's happening to our leaders. Alfie Cox, he's got himself back in front with the 300cc KTM. That is Cox back out front with that 2-stroke, standing on the pegs. Daryl Curtis, is he standing on the pegs again? Somehow I doubt it. This is the style of Curtis. He loves to sit down in the saddle and take a handful of that twist grip and hang on for dear life. Looks like he's missed a bit of the trail there, but no problem for Curtis. Just swing it left, go over those rocks and take out another handful. He's winding it up to 130, 140. Sometimes they're doing 170 k's an hour through the trail. They've been along this way yesterday. Now it's the reverse direction. That's Alfie Cox out front. And Elmer Simmons has dropped back a wee bit on the plateau. He's got a lot of time to catch up now. Simmons is winding that KTM. He's got to get back up with the leaders.
Yeah, Andrew, it's been a tough day today, you know, nobody can get away from each other. So it's going to be one hell of a dogfight to the finish. But we have to see what happens.
Beautiful.
Enjoying today, man?
Yeah, I'm having fun. This last section was really hard. We're all over each other, and I think the race home begins right now.
And you're all together?
Yeah, we're all together, but it's... I think we'll find our way. It's just a case of who's going to be quickest on the last stretch. The guys are really quick at the moment. Really going well.
Good going, man.
Yeah, right there. Today was tough. But, low lanes now, so we're going to have some fun.
So that's the final refuel point. Alfie Cox gets away. They are heading for home. Cox, Curtis and Simmons. It's anybody's race for the Roof of Africa 2001. It seems like a lifetime that Daryl Curtis has got to wait before he's allowed out of that starting gate. And he winds it up and he's chasing down Alfie Cox. Much easier to follow through this section because the man out front has got to find his way. And whoa, look how slippery it is out there on the rocks. Alfie Cox is slipping and sliding all over the place. He's got to find his way along the trail. Now, yesterday they went in the opposite direction, so they have got some tracks to follow, and it's the common course with the seniors and Ulysses class as well. Curtis chases after Cox, but it does look like Daryl is getting a little tired hanging onto that seat. Maybe standing up is a better option because you don't get as tired. When you sit down, you get pounded by each and every bump along the way. Cox cleverly around the mud there. Notice how he cuts through that field. Takes a little shortcut there. Alfie Cox knows his way around here. Elmer Simmons, he's chasing hard. Elmer Simmons has got Cox and Curtis in his sights. That KTM is handling the bumps like nothing else. That is the top three riders at the moment. Cox, Curtis and Simmons. It's as close as that, and there's only 65 k's to go to the finish of this race. Through the mud, hang on to those pegs. Look at this. It's got to be the closest finish in Roof of Africa history. One of the best supported events that we've seen in its 34-year history. And Alfie Cox, can he make it? 9 wins. He's already won 8 of the Roof of Africas. These are the riders back down further field. They're trying to make their way before the time bar comes through. That's von Zitzewitz, our German rider, loving the Roof of Africa. In fact, he's been here once before. Wood goes through on the KTM, standing well over the back of the bike as it finds its way through those rocks. Oh, sideways there for Donnie Janssen van Veren on his KTM. Look at the water lying around, and that tractor ain't going anywhere. Sometimes it's better to have horsepower. Was that cattle power? Can't make up my minds about that one. Right, the seniors class. Mike Glover has taken the lead in that seniors class, riding for Red Cherry this year, and he's waiting for Glenn Evans, the man who's lying second. They've been riding all day together. Glenn Evans goes through in a friendly way from him. 180 Ks are over, and Mike Glover is the winner of the seniors class. Roof of Africa 2001. Well done to Mike.
Hey, how's it? Yes. That was lucky, huh? Enjoy it. Well, Glenn was chasing me there, but Glenn was chasing me, but he fell back there. Okay. Us 41-year-olds shouldn't be doing this. We should be taking bowls or something. Hold on.
Glenn Evans arrives, second place in the senior class. He's got to be happy with that. And third place to Russell White on the KTM. Well done to him. The first of the quads gets in. Christophe Kunler, the Frenchman, arrives in the lead. But we're waiting for corrected times because we've got to see if Cornel de Villiers has made up enough time to take the overall win. But Kunler has got to be ecstatic with this result. First time ever for him in South Africa. In comes Cornel de Villiers, and he has done enough. He's picked up enough time, so on the time difference, Cornel de Villiers is the winner on the Bombardier in the quad class, number L4, the winner of the Roof of Africa. Third man comes in, that is Jeff Ush, also Bombardier mounted. Back out on the track, the open class leader, Alfie Cox. He's leading overall, and he's the overall open class leader. Goes through that river section, just 20 Ks to go for Cox. He's looking over his shoulder, wondering, where are the rest of them? This is Elmer Simmons. He's moving up to second place. Where is Daryl Curtis? He seems to have dropped down, so Simmons now the lead in the 250cc class and second overall. Not scared of that river, and he's not scared of those rocks. Simmons really riding well at the moment. Curtis comes through. He has definitely got a little bit tired. It looks like he's battling with a gas. Nonetheless, he will be heading for home and hoping to pick up that third place. Cox and Simmons, it's as close as this. The two leaders go through this downhill rocky section, reminiscent of Baboon's Pass. How much closer can it be? And the best place to be right now is in the helicopter watching this lot. Fantastic pictures coming from Andrew Mulligan, our helicopter cameraman. And the crowd are gathering down towards that finishing area to see who's going to win this year's Roof of Africa. Cox is out front, but Simmons perhaps has got the advantage by following Cox. Maybe this is the correct tactic. Peter Luck says, go for it, mate, go for it. Alfie Cox looking for those river crossings. He remembers this from yesterday. He knows that it's a shallow river, and he takes a handful as he flies through there. He's wondering how close is Simmons behind at the moment. Looks like Cox has got a bit of a lead there, though. Simmons comes around those mealie fields. Don't want to ride through those mealies and destroy some of the crops. Elmer Simmons, 120, 130, 140, 160 Ks per hour top speed. How do you like to be hanging onto those handlebars at this sort of speed? They sometimes accelerate away from our helicopter. We can't even keep up with these guys. Simmons is chasing after Cox. He knows that Cox has got a faster bike. He's on a 300cc machine, and Simmons is on a 250. So he knows this section is going to be faster for Cox. Alfie Cox comes down to the finish line. He has made it 9 Roof of Africa wins. This has got to be some sort of record, and his wife Hazel is ecstatic. The KTM team celebrate. Cox has made it 9. Roof of Africa wins. Simmons comes in second place, and third place to Daryl Curtis.
Daryl, third overall, second in your class. Tell us about today.
We had a good day today. I mean, Alfie and Alma were really flying today. They didn't put a wheel wrong, and the three of us hooked up this morning, and we pretty much rode most of the day together, and it was just, no time to rest. It was go the whole time. And then we, at the last decontrol, it was basically a 140k race to the end, and after about 40 or 50 k's, I think the toll of the last 2 days, I felt really tired, and it was either me crashing out of the race or just slowing down a little bit. And I knew Alfie and Alma were stronger than me at the end, so I let them go. and I'm happy to be here.
I think the 300 had a bit more legs than you in the straight stuff near the end.
Yeah, definitely. I tried to make it up in the tight stuff and that. I knew that was going to happen at the finish, but there's nothing I can really do, you know. My 250 went well.
It's great to have a win back at the roof. I haven't won here for 2 years in a row, and I began to doubt myself, but I know I can do it still. But it was a tough race, definitely a tough race. We forget about how difficult the stones are in Lesotho, the big mountains, and I think it's a challenge for anybody to come to this race.
Yes, it certainly is. And well done to Alfie Cox, winner in the open class, and overall the winner of the 250s, Alma Simmons. The 200cc class won by Barry Creel, and the South African Championship wrapped up. Seniors was taken by Mike Glover, the quads by Cornell de Villiers. A whitewash there for the Bombardiers. And well done to the Roof of Africa organisers, a well-organised and well-run event.